Yoga studios are helping people improve their lives every single day and are making their communities and the world a better place. But for the first time in history, there are more yoga studios closing than new ones opening. With the steadily declining revenue, some owners haven't paid themselves properly in years and are putting it all on the line just to keep the business afloat. So why are yoga studios shutting their doors? Most yoga studio owners open their business because they believe in the power of yoga to change people's lives, but they lack the training and tools to grow a profitable business. They end up feeling overwhelmed, underpaid, stressed, and lose their enthusiasm to keep helping people. My name is Josh Bureau, founder of Nomad Business Coaching and lead coach of the Yogapreneur Collective. My team and I are on a mission to give these business leaders the resources and coaching they need to grow their business, increase profits, and change more lives. I'm Josh Bureau, part of the Nomad Yoga family and Nomad Business Coaching. I'm the head coach at Nomad Business Coaching and also founder of the Yogapreneur Collective, which is a private group for yogapreneurs, entrepreneurs who are yogis, who are studio owners, who want to amp their business up and get compensation that they actually deserve for what they're doing. I think that Maria is one of the best examples of how the yoga industry, like the business side of it, is this really untold story. You know, she's a mom, she's got 3 kids, obviously husband, house, but then running this business. And she expressed to me that she just kind of felt like her enthusiasm was leaving a little bit.
Somewhere along the way, I started to kind of lose the excitement and the passion that I had for teaching and for running my studio. I'm a mom of 3 young kids, and so after my second was born, it really became a grind. Just longer days and harder to teach classes.
When you're teaching in a yoga studio or you're managing your staff or whatever, you're doing it during really hard hours. You're up early in the morning, they got classes start at 6 a.m., you're there late at night, you're not even home till like 9 o'clock sometimes. And then you've got family that you're managing around that schedule as well. So you're sacrificing a lot personally and you're putting a tremendous amount of effort. Sometimes as an owner, we get so caught up working in the business that we sacrifice a lot of time that we would ever spend to work on the business. And after that's happened for a while, it becomes exceedingly difficult to step out of the in the business thing and just get the big picture scope of where you actually are.
Class sizes had declined for sure, but people were still coming, but it didn't have life, it didn't have energy, it didn't have fresh faces coming in. I remember making my first call with Josh and I had Theo sleeping on me. Josh sounded really confident, really knowledgeable. He listened to my situation and he sounded like really hopeful. So here I was, and I remember specifically saying to him, my studio's profitable, but I just don't know if there's any more business to be had. Josh is getting here tomorrow and I'm excited, but I have to be honest, I'm totally nervous because I feel like this has been 10 months of preparation and I've done a lot of work, but I also know that there's some stuff that I haven't done. I really hope that he gives me some clarity and some advice on my advertising. Facebook advertising is really powerful and I don't have a good handle on it.
I just landed in Boston and I'm on my way to Natick to visit Hometown Sweat. I'm super pumped to be here. We've been working for over a year and it's been a really cool process to go through. Maria is one of the most exemplar studio owners I have ever experienced. The game plan for Maria at this point is that we want to do some sales training with her staff and really just hone that in, mostly for them solidifying the why factor. Why should you even be paying attention to this? So it's a lot more like getting them to connect on that heart level to what it is that we're trying to accomplish in this space. And then continuing that customer experience curation. So we want to do a deep walkthrough of the studio and just see like, what is the flow in the physical space? Does it fit sort of feng shui principles? Is it functional for you as the owner? Is it functional for the person? Is it just the simplest thing, like, is it clean? Let's do a deep walkthrough.
Okay.
The first thing is, it's hard as the owner to see the truth of what's going on in our space because you're in here every day. So one of the things we can do is we start outside. When we're thinking about someone's experience, there are things that they don't consciously equate.
Okay.
but it's basically the senses.
Okay.
So when someone walks in, what do they smell? What do they hear? What do they see?
Yeah.
You know, what do they feel even?
Yeah.
Imagine yourself walking outside and your best friend's in the car with you. You just came up for information. And they ask you, what's it like in the studio? What are you gonna tell them?
I would say it's green.
Right, it's green isn't something that makes the friend be like, I gotta go see this.
Right.
There's no attachment value there.
Mm-hmm.
So again, let's give them a feature. Let's give them something that's at least a little bit memorable.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been like a week. We're about at the halfway point. So far, we have managed to accomplish some kind of bigger things today. We had our teacher meeting. We did a group feedback session for a teacher, and then also discussed sort of what it means to be a yoga teacher in 2019, and sort of what the actual role is, and discussed how to progress in that role and be more professional, and then also what that looks like in the studio and playing into the student body. It's been good. I feel like we're really starting to make some headway. Maria and I have been diving into the numbers, getting some of the back end strategy set up, making sure that we have no loose ends that are actually happening. We've managed to do a deep walkthrough of her studio as well to just identify, you know, where some things need an upgrade or need some attention. Not so much that they're run down in a bad way, but just that as a studio owner, we lose focus on some of the micro details because we get so caught up constantly working in the space every day. So just that fresh set of eyes and curating the experience for the clientele. She's got a great teaching staff around her. Their heart and their head is sort of in the game. And that's the hardest part in today's industry. There's a lot of people teaching as a side hobby or because they like it, or they even believe it in their heart, but the level of seriousness and professionalism can be really lacking. That's not really how most of them are approaching it. So we've got a really good base, and it's playing out in the students. So the students also love coming in. They have good relationship and interaction with the teachers. So that's been cool to see. So there's a couple of things that are like glaring eyesores and a couple of things that are also causing actual problem in the studio. I don't think anyone here realizes it. One of them is the front desk area. There's nothing wrong with the front desk, but it's so cluttered and it's organized in a way that everyone knows where everything is until you're looking for that thing. That if we don't deal with it, I mean, it's difficult to even work back there. And I can tell you right now that it's also adding stress to her staff. We want to make it easy for her staff to work. They will be better at what they do when they're in a low stress environment.
This week has been like so intense. Just having this fresh set of eyes looking at my studio, picking up on things that I haven't been noticing, that I don't even think I see anymore because I'm just in it all day, every day, has been incredibly valuable. Mentally, time-wise, it's been intense. One of the things that I'm really, really interested in getting his perspective on and having him help myself and my team is a group feedback meeting. I personally at my studio want to encourage and implement more of like a culture of feedback so that when I'm not here, my teachers feel really open about helping one another grow as teachers. And we're at a place in our yoga community where we really need to do that in order to keep moving forward.
The studio is positioned in an old office park near an industrial area, so you have zero walk-by traffic. It's completely a destination. So basically, you know, we've identified that we need to make sure that people know that she's here. But the good news is we've identified that she's got a market that is way bigger than we thought it was. You know, we're not drawing from 10,000 people, we're drawing from maybe 100,000 people potentially in the market. I'm pretty sure that the people who are not making it in here yet, it's not because they're choosing not to come, it's because they don't even have any clue that this place exists.
The last 2 weeks with Josh have been really life-changing, and I don't say that lightly. You know, we've done some great actionable things in my business, some things that we've kind of checked the box of what we had set out to do, and we did them, and so that always feels really good. But the confidence that I've gained working with him over the past 2 weeks and realizing, you know, how I need to lead and why I need to lead that way has just given me a huge boost of confidence that I didn't even really know that I needed. I think my biggest takeaway of this whole overhaul experience is that I just know that whatever I set my mind to in my business, like I'm gonna be able to accomplish it given the right tools. I've I got my business to a level working with Josh over this past year that I didn't think was possible. I did things over the past 2 weeks with his help that I didn't expect that I would ever do. I actually looked at my revenue and came up with a realistic advertising budget and understood like what that advertising could lead to. And if it's not leading to it, how I can adjust from there. So I've just never really looked at my business like that through that lens. Doing that and realizing that I can make these changes happen, that I already have made so many changes happen, that's been probably the biggest takeaway that I have. And having him back here, it reignited this passion in me that I know this is by far the most powerful yoga practice, but the way he has inspired us to continue teaching, it's going to maintain and remain the most powerful yoga class for all practitioners, because now we know how we can inspire and how we can motivate and how we can bring a level of intensity to even people who've been practicing this style for 10 years. That's still going to challenge them, that they're not going to get tired of it, that they're going to want to come every day, day after day, week after week, month after month, because of what their teachers are going to help them break through next.
So 2 weeks in. I mean, we've got one more day. I've got the group meeting tomorrow, but this has been awesome. It's gone by really fast. We've been super busy. And I always feel at this point, like I actually start to doubt myself a lot. I know that we've accomplished a lot, but I feel like there's so much more we could do. And I get excited about it because we're already having some really awesome successes. So I want to keep going. Maria is just such a powerhouse of a woman and totally inspiring to me. I mean, I'm a father, I've got kids, I'm managing stuff as well, but she just never scoffs at anything. She's never like imploding. She just breathes, does her life yoga practice and shows up, like really shows up and really puts her heart into what she's doing. And that's something that you can't train somebody to do. You know, making sure that your product is a sound product is something that I think often in business actually doesn't get looked at as much anymore, as funny as that sounds, because we're in the era of marketing, communicating your message and making sure people know that you're there and getting it in front of the right people and you know, building pipelines and funnels and ads and all these things to get people to come in. That's exceedingly important. You've got to be on top of these things. This was fun.
It really was fun. I haven't had this much fun working in my business, on my business, I don't think ever. It's been so rewarding to be kind of a fly on the wall in the studio and be here working and then hear my teachers practicing like what we went over in the sales meeting.
Yeah.
I've got such an awesome team and you've really inspired them both on the front and the in the back end, you know, of the studio operations.
So over the last year, obviously you've been gaining confidence.
Yeah.
And you've been doing such a good job of like just taking action, sort of having some faith that it's going to happen. But in these last 2 weeks, what I've seen is someone who's gone from seeing that this business has some potential. We'd already accomplished that.
Right.
Seeing that like, this is real. This could really be, you know, a strong, powerfully supportive business that I can be proud of.
Yeah.
Thanks again so much to everybody at Hometown Sweat here in Natick. It has been so awesome being here. Thank you so much to Maria for just being an excellent host and also, you know, being willing to work with me on this entire project. I absolutely cannot wait for the next one. It's gonna get even more awesomer. See you next time. Peace.
One of the things that I was so stuck on before Josh's visit, before the overhaul here, was my messaging. I knew what we offered was really powerful, but I didn't know how to communicate it in a clear way. I didn't know how to convey to potential students what they were going to experience. So we worked a lot on that together over the 2 weeks that he was here. The way that Josh has taught me to message about these powerful classes that we do here has been a huge shift and change in how I promote Hometown Sweat. That overhaul visit was transformative for me because what Josh taught me really is that just do everything with intention. So whether you're making a sale behind the desk, whether you're folding a towel, Whether you're home with your kids, whether you're steam cleaning the studio, just do it with intention. And that's the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from working with him. Own it. You know, own it. This has really come into play with my staff development. There's no beating around the bush anymore. If something needs improvement, it's definitely not personal, but it definitely needs to be worked on.
The only difference between a yoga studio that is absolutely killing it and a yoga studio that is maybe killing their dreams is the owner's ability to take action.